Welcome back. This is still Tea Time on Plus TV Africa. As the youths of Nigeria are on the streets demanding better policing and economy, there is an ongoing conversation regarding the support from the older generation and their reactions. Some are of the opinion that our parents have failed and that the millennials and the Gen Zs are determined to take this country back from years of misappropriation and bad leadership. Now joining to speak for the generation after Nigeria's independence and possibly the generation before is a British-trained Nigerian documentary photographer, cultural anthropologist, and author. He is the author of 14 books about Nigeria, including River State, Our Proud Heritage, Tour Nigeria, Lagos State Portraits, and his recent publication, Owe Yoruba 2.0. He has archived over 4 million images about Nigeria and is a passionate he's very passionate about history and preserving the history of Nigeria. He has also toured the 36 states of Nigeria and visited the 774 local governments we have in Nigeria, and that's the one and only Dayo Adedayo. Why are you laughing? You're here to make a case, so you're not to laugh at all. At all.
No, I have to laugh like someone laughed some few days ago, so don't worry.
Oh, okay.
Okay, let's not mention the someone.
Yeah.
But
the someone laughed at someone.
Yeah, okay. But do you think it's fair for this generation to blame the previous generation, or based on what is happening now? Do you think it's fair?
Thank you for having me on your show, and I'm really happy. I see all of you as my children. My first child is 29, so you guys are not far away from that.
Yeah.
So, is it fair? You have to go back into history to know what is going on. The generation of the current President Muhammadu Buhari, failed this country. But we have to go back into history. We have the generation of the Awolowos, starting with the first nationalist, Herbert Macaulay. These guys were in their 30s. And Ahmadu Bello became the premier of Northern Region at the age of 48. Awolowo became the premier at the age of 45. Sir Michael Okpara became the premier of Eastern Region at the age of 39. So when you look at the median age of these guys, they are the same people we call youth in Nigeria today. So what happened? This guy started very, very well. And we keep referring to them up to tomorrow. Then the generation of the current president took over in 1966. And everything started going down south. Their generation, if you are 70 and above in Nigeria today, you messed Nigeria up. Then they gave back to us. I'm 56. They gave back to us, and we struggle through, I would say, my generation, or if you're 50 and above, enjoyed the last of Nigeria. Because I was in Form 3 when UPN came in 1979.
Sorry, what's UPN?
United Party of Nigeria, that is the Awolowo Party.
Right.
Okay.
Right. When they came in 79, and I remember in October, they refunded our school fees, which was 90 naira. In secondary school, boarding, 90 naira for boarding in 1979. So
I see a lot of my dad in you.
So that was refunded to us. So I would say if you're 50 and above, you enjoy the bit of Nigeria. Our generation gave birth to the democracy that you guys can go on the street today and shut everywhere down. In our time, there was nothing like social media where everything is real time. Lots of people lost their lives for this democracy we are talking about. If you look at the median age of the people protesting today, it's about 25, highest 30. So this democracy started in 1999, 21 years. So probably the oldest among them will be 9 or 8 years, still in primary school. So you don't even have a clue of what we went through to bring back this democracy. So in every generation, there will always be something. I doff my hat for what they're doing at the moment, because for the first time, it is not about government policy. You know, NSAS is just NSAS, but it goes beyond NSAS. I'll be very happy if your generation can now bring in good governance. I've been petrified about my retirement. Will I still be working when I'm retired?
Right.
What will my retirement be? My children might not meet some of their cousins, because what is happening in Nigeria now is worse than apartheid in South Africa.
Sure.
Why? You just don't mix. When I was in school, I went to a village school in Ogun State, Ijebufe, to be precise. Village. You can go and see what Ijebufe looks like today. We have children of major generals who are my classmates, my juniors. We have children of ambassadors, federal ambassadors in foreign countries. We have children of permanent secretaries, directors at federal level.
Right.
Can you have children in public schools of those guys today? No. The answer is no. And guess what the Buhari generation did again? They caused a senseless war, because you need to go back into history for you to know what is going on.
Sure.
Their generation fought a senseless war between 1967 and 1970. They were just age then, and they believe they can change the world. But they did not add a dime to good governance in Nigeria, and that is what we're seeing today. By the time the regional government were there, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, the premier in Western State, opened the first television station in Africa. So Western region had television station before France, before Northern Ireland, before South Africa. They had the first stadium, Liberty Stadium in Ibadan. And there wasn't this kind of money then. There was no money. And to cap it on, not just on infrastructure, the best policy he gave us then was education. And that education was only primary school, not secondary. Primary school was free.
If you have to look back now, right, and I mean, it's easy for me to say at what point did we start getting it wrong, but I don't want to use points. I would say, what event can you remember that you would say that's the point where we began to get it wrong?
1966. January 15th. The January 15th, 1966 coup messed this country up. The soldiers were trained. They were brilliant. They too were brilliant in their own little way. Because I just could not imagine joining the army. You know, they want to give their life to their country. But they were not trained to be in government. If they have left the regions as they were then, the three regions, to be functioning. I mean, look at Nigeria today. Awolowo built University of Ife. No university in the whole of Nigeria can beat University of Ife.
Right.
It was built by the Western region, not federal government too. Then Azikiwe said no. Azikiwe was more nationalistic in attitude.
Right.
You know, he built Nsukka and named it University of Nigeria.
All right. Sir, I would like to say thank you to you and the older generation for all you've done and, you know, being a part of fighting for us to be able to proceed with this right now. But it feels like the more you doff your hat for our generation, the more you are in your booth. Because a lot of you are beginning to say that, oh, I saw a post on Charlie Boy recently when somebody tweeted at him and say, why are you not protesting? And he responded saying, I am tired. I've been protesting for over 40 years. But now that we have woken up and we're out there, what is wrong with the older generation still fighting our battle? Because this is what you have been fighting for. And I'm sure you're all proud of what we're doing right now. So why are you not still joining us? Regardless, any little way you can, apart from saying we're proud of you guys. We still need you.
The reason why we can't join you, if any of us should join, it will turn political. And two things you don't discuss with people, or three things actually. One is religion. The second is politics. And the third thing is a person in love, either a man or a woman. Whatever you tell them, they will not listen to you. So we don't want to join you because immediately any of us joined, it will not be, oh, because it's this, it's that. I don't want to mention any political party. Not just that. In 1984, I remember, it was in 1984, on the Hard Talk in London, BBC, Wole Soyinka said my generation was a failed generation. Wole Soyinka has been protesting all his life. Do you still expect someone going to be 90 to now start your battle? You know, these guys, they've all collected their boarding passes. They are the boarding gates. They can leave anytime. You are not even traveling anywhere. You've not bought your ticket, nothing. You know? So whatever you make out of this, the only appeal I will give now is you started NSAS. And God bless Governor Sanwo-Olu. All the 5 things you gave to him, you went to Abuja and told the governor. And out of the government evolution of Lagos State, I mean, if you look at the country entirely, you guys need to go into history because there are things I cannot see on national telly, right? Because of national security, right? But this you have to note. Let it be on record.
Right.
Why was Nigeria amalgamated? Do you know? Any of you?
You can enlighten us.
That's why you're here.
That's why you're here, to enlighten
I mean,
us,
I could
enlighten
start
us.
sharing my own.
I could share some points, but I would like to
Nigeria
be
was not amalgamated because of politics. Nigeria was amalgamated because the northern region was running a deficit budget, and the southern protectorate were running a surplus budget. So money was being sent from England to maintain the northern region. And that hasn't changed till today.
The money is not being done, differences.
You've gotten what you want in ending SARS. I think this should be periodical, right? After this, you guys can come back again and say, oh, we want to restructure. Okay. Let's go back to the region.
Just to, you mentioned something that gave me shivers a bit when you said in your time, the last protest, the problem was that they didn't replace it with good governance, and that you warned that we shouldn't just stop at SARS and proceed to ending, making sure that we have good governance. I think a lot of us are very desperate in this type of period because we put so much on the line. A lot of people have died, friends, uncles, and things, and we don't want this to be a waste. But at the same time, we're really young and uneducated for the most part. We just know that this is wrong. Not a lot of people are that aware or grounded in the politics and the structure or the history, and I'm one of them. I'm not even going to lie. I know nothing about the history. But I want you to please shed more light on what would be those indications of good governance and how we can get that to happen. Right now, we do have people, like we were discussing earlier in the show, frontliners who help, put those things into structure, make it a poster. Even the 545, they helped us to word our feelings together properly. So obviously, they would be watching as well. How can we put those same energies into making sure that we have good governance, like you've mentioned?
Okay, the easiest way to that is, okay, you've done this. At the moment, we have a constitutional authority. We are running a democracy. And we've only got 3 years before the expiration of this administration. Right. You guys are nearly 70% of the population. For me, that is massive. And guess what? We are scared of what you guys are doing now. You can't see any politician as at today that is not scared because nobody knows where this is going to end.
Okay, do you think that you or the politicians or the older generation are scared of those movements presently, or you believe in what we are doing presently, or you can't, like you said earlier, you said the older generation can join because it will become political. Do you think it's because we are less corrupt and our hands are not dirty yet, but the older generation have collected Ghana must go, they've collected bribe, they've been influenced by politicians in the past? Could that be the reason why they're more scared of us?
No. That's not the reason. And the Ghana must go they've collected, they've used it in training you guys. I'm looking at you guys, you didn't go to public schools, right? So because when you say corruption,
what is wrong is wrong.
What is wrong is wrong. But what I'm trying to say is your life. You've not even started living life. You guys are, in another 10, 15, 20 years time, it's going to be a different ball game to you guys. So what the Awolowos did to get independence is what you guys should do. But there is a caveat when I said but. You came out to end SARS. The government has said we are ending SARS. You gave 5 points agendas. They've agreed to the 5 points agenda. So what you guys should do now is to go back.
Retreat.
And if you want to come back for good governance in another time, because one, Lagos owns 75% of the economy.
Sure.
And if you should kill the golden goose, yeah, that gives you the golden egg, Nigeria is in trouble.
Okay.
And there is a proverb, let me finish my thought, in Yoruba that says, Ibereja la mo, akimo abi to ma pari si, which translates to, you only know the beginning of a fight. You don't know where it is going to end. We don't want to end up like Libya, Syria, or Iraq. 3 years is a long time for you guys. If you want to have a political party, nobody stops you from having a political party.
Right.
And you can never rig election. People always say they rig election. No, you only rig where you are popular. If you are not popular, there is no way you can rig an election. I was already in the university in 1983. In 1983, in Ondo State, when they rigged MPN, National Party of Nigeria, rigged themselves in against the Unity Party of Nigeria, UPN. Houses were burnt, people were killed. Why? Because MPN wasn't popular in Ondo State. So if you guys should form a party today and say this is what you want, and you've won, you've won. Okay. The only thing is after 4 years, if you are not good, they'll vote you out.
Okay. My question is a follow-up to the question he asked previously, where he was saying what your generation can do, and he said they can't join at the moment. Now, beyond just saying, well done, we like what you're doing, do this and do that, how else can they join to help us push this agenda forward?
How else? Money hands are at all. Your generation hasn't got the money.
Sure.
So the funding, where is the funding coming from?
It's being crowdfunded.
From with you guys.
We just have 3 million.
We're doing what we can do.
You can say it on here. We can say it there too and tell us how much are you donating to our cause, sir.
What I've donated to your cause is for you to see a beautiful country. This is the most beautiful country in the world. Forget about all the political challenges we are having, all the insecurity challenges. This Nigeria is a gold mine to be tapped into. 200 million people, or over 200 million people. You guys, we are handing over a country to you guys that you'll be wondering, oh, Dad, Mom, why did you guys not make the opportunity that were there in your time? You know? So for me, what I want you guys to see, or what I want you guys to do after Hensens, is good governance. Right. One, someone from Zamfara should not score 2 to get into Unity School. While someone from Anambra will have to score 139 to get into the same school. And this same person will come out to join the police, and this person from Zamfara who scored 2 will now be the IG over the person that scored 139 in Anambra. Not just that alone, that person will join the civil service and be the PAMSEC over the person that scored 139. That person will join the military or join the intelligence agencies. And that is what is killing this country. And that is what I'm seeing on this your protest. There is no divide line to say, oh, I'm Igbo, I'm Hausa, I'm Yoruba, which is very, very good. And that is where the politicians are scared.
Is this where you begin to talk about restructuring? Is that something you...
That should be the next point.
Okay.
But they need to end this protest.
All right.
Because Tombalioto, Onilo Asisimi, Aito, Onilo Ajefoti. So, when they tell you to stop, and you don't stop, anything else can happen after that.
All right, sir, one thing I would also like to ask is that from this whole protest, what do you think is the future of the Nigerian youth, considering the fact that we are now awake, considering the fact that we now know these things, and we are still of the state of mind that we have cabals? Do you think that some people will be willing to step down and give us a chance now that we know that we are woke?
Nobody gives power on their plate. You have to grab it. That's the way power works. And I said earlier on, the politicians are scared. So what you guys need to do, in terms of education, you might not be as bright as us. But in terms of creativity, you are a million years ahead of us. And your creativity is what is working for you now. I will still say again that you end this as whoever originated it or the group that originated it should go back on the drawing board. If you don't want these current politicians to be your head in another 3 years, you need to come together and do something for yourself. If you still want them to be, then you vote for the right person.
Yeah, well, that's my next question. Do you think that it's also a problem that we don't have a face to this protest? We don't have anyone leading us that we can say, this is the person you can speak to on our behalf?
That is to you. You don't know. Those that knows.
Isn't that a problem in itself?
There is no problem. And it's part of the major challenges we have in Nigeria. Abroad, Europe or North America, a first-class graduate would have been recruited into the civil service or intelligence agency. And most especially when you are first class in sciences or maths, forget it. You are destined for the intelligence agencies.
Right.
But what do we have in Nigeria? Who are the people going to civil service? Who are the people working for government? I won't say more than that.
If I can,
Go on.
If I can push in just another question really quick, because we're running out of time, I know. There is the hint that we need to create our own party, and I think you've mentioned that even a bit before, and we have that right now, especially with the bill of young people being able to run now. Do you think that the next 3 years should be something that we set in place, or should we just be more specific in who we vote for with the pool of existing politicians?
And still let the same people rule us.
The cake and the knife is in your hand. Whichever way you want to cut it. You cut it. You have the numbers. Democracy is the majority. And thank God in Nigeria, it's simple majority. There is nothing like the collegiate things that I have in America. So just a simple majority. With what you guys are doing now, what you then need to do, because I could see a dividing line in the country. All these things is happening majorly in the South. The Northerners are quiet about it. So if you want to rule Nigeria, you have to have handshake across the Niger. But if you don't want Nigeria to be as it is today, because to me, I prefer Nigeria, but Nigeria should be restructured. Why? I cannot be in the same office with someone that scored 2. Why someone from Ogun State will have to score 130? It just doesn't, life is not like that. If rain is going to beat everybody, rain will beat everybody. It will not pre-select to say, oh, because you are good, you are bad. That is why rain is not falling on you. So that is what you guys should ham on. But this NSAS should end and say, thank you, government. We came out for something. We've succeeded. Then maybe in another 2 months, 3 months, it's another issue. Or you just form a political party. Because if you say NSAS and you want to bring up another issue, shifting the goalposts, it's not going to work for you. Yes, they've disbanded the group to say, okay, no more SARS. We're coming up with another thing, and that's just it. But you guys, the world is your oyster.
Quickly, I'd just like to chip in because you've mentioned a lot about the northern region enjoying certain benefits that the east, the south, the west are not. Now, how do you think that we can bridge that gap that your generation and the generations of your fathers were not able to bridge?
We're still coming back to the same thing where we all started from. Is this NSAS project? The cake and the knife is in your hand.
So we have to...
You have to form a political party because you can't say revolution now without a face.
But am I correct that the Northerners are enjoying certain benefit that the east, the west, the south are not?
I won't generalize, but they have a certain advantage over us. Why? Because they have the population. Guess what? If they are to go to the National Assembly today, the South will lose that because they have more representatives up north than the South. Between Kano and Jigawa, they have 2 states. They have more representation than the East, nearly more representation than the East. The whole of South is 5 states. And guess what? The Northwest have 7 states. The Southeast just have 5, the least of all the regions in the country. So what are we talking about? So if you want to restructure, the cake and the knife is in your hand. But you can't say hence SARS has ended,
Not keep
No,
saying
you don't want to shift the
forward.
goalpost.
Yeah.
No, it
IGP
doesn't work
must
like
go.
that.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you for drinking tea with us. It's been, should I say, a lightning conversation.
Yeah, it
Thank you
has
for being
been.
here. And thank you for watching. Do join the conversation on social media with the hashtag Tea Time or tweet at us at Plus TV Africa. Also send in your opinions via WhatsApp to 09060005719. Remember, you can catch up on this episode and all our exclusive content by subscribing to our YouTube channel at Plus TV Africa. Also, watch Tea Time on ROT TV and in London on Ben Television. My thank you as always to go to my co-anchors Ife Omai and Ife Oluwashoke, and of course our guest, Mr. Dayo Adedayo. Thank you for being here. And thank you for watching. My name remains Elsie Godwin. Please do stay safe.